Yeah, I think that should be a little bit better there. Should see a series of 3 charts in a separate chart window, 2 time frames for the S&P 500 E-mini and a 30-year bond chart. Hey, Don, good morning. Hey, HB, you were in before, right? What's your interest? Just let me know back in chat. Hey, Don, good morning. For those that are joining us on the outside, if you want to join us on the inside, just click on the, or actually look for the link. It's login now free at www.zoomitlive.com. Hey, Oscar, good morning. Saul's going to be joining us shortly. This is learning how to trade the market as a living. We're here every trading day starting at 9 a.m. Well, we get rolling around 9:15. Right now it's 9:18 Thursday, March 3rd, 2021. Everything we do is for educational purposes only. Nothing is to be taken as direct trading advice. You're trading between you and your broker at your own risk. Hey, Peter O, quick sound check for you. Let me know if you're hearing my voice. Hey, quick sound check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hey, Mohammed. Yeah, I made some adjustments in the mixing board yesterday. Hey, Leland, did you get my message earlier? Just let me know back in chat. And HB, let me know best way to help you. Hey, HD. Hey, Mark, good morning. Hey, Sam P, welcome back. HB, you keep raising your hand. Are you okay? Hey, Glenn. Leland, let me know how we're making out. Hey, Roop. Can't believe it's already Thursday again. Coming on to Friday. It's crazy. Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark, how's my voice coming through? I made some adjustments. I thought it was a little tinny. I mean, Sal's voice comes through great. That's his just natural voice. My voice needs a lot of enhancement. I'm going to be like Wolfman Jack. So welcome to Trading the Markets as a Living. In this service, Sal Shul is your host. The focus is the S&P 500 E-mini. We're looking to do 2, 3, 4, 5 trades during the morning session based on a disciplined approach to trading the market intraday. Hey, Maureen, good morning. Got a nice group of people in here today. Welcome aboard. We've got some people joining us on the outside. On the outside, you want to join us on the inside, just look for the link. The link is for Zoom It Live. So you actually have to put in www.zoomItlive.com. I don't think it's picked up in Google. It might be. And join us in Zoom. Hey, Warren. Put up an S&P 500 E-mini chart. Try to mimic Sal's charts. If that's the right term. It's got 2 time frames for the S&P 500 E-mini and a 30-year bond chart. Hey, Sam. So if anybody wants to sign up for Sal's Monthly, or it's time for you to sign up for Sal's Monthly, raise your hand and I will send out the discounted link. You only can find that link in here. That's a very good question, HB. Question was, why don't you show your trades on the chart? I believe Sal will answer that question when he comes in. I can tell you that in the past, individuals tried to mimic Hey, Mike, are you gone? Just let me know back in chat. Hey, Mike R, welcome. No, the reason is that individuals try to copy them. You know, this is the old teach you to fish versus have you like us throw fish into your boat. You know, you have to know why you're getting into a trade. You know, the setup is the action around the trading level or the zone. That action, you know, from your perspective as a trader that's learning how to trade to do it on their own, is really important to know when to step into a trade, where to enter that trade price, you know, the actual price in and around the zone, you know, whether you go short or long, where you place your entry, how you defend your position based on your stop, and what your exit strategy on that trade. Sal's general approach is what? It's He's looking for a minimum trading profit. That's a minimum trading profit of 2 points plus on his trades. He's got a general 2-point stop, and everything depends on this day's personality and how it's presenting itself, and price movement, momentum, and follow through. And that's the same with, the reason you go into a trade in and around one of Sol's zones or levels, and why you don't go into a trade, or why you get right out of that trade. Those are all things that happen based on being schooled in the technique and developing that second nature when it comes to being able to enter a trade and exit a trade. So the short answer to that is that traders come in, they'll write down the levels, they go through the morning session, but they'll try to parrot or copy trades, and they get all twisted up because they don't know the reason they are getting in. They don't know the reason to get right out. They don't know the reason to stay in a trade, trade that's working. And it becomes very hard for those individuals to survive. So hopefully that answers your question. And the question was, why don't you show your trades live? I mean, you'll pick up on everything based on Sol's commentary, We've got a couple people in here that had asked about Sol's course and mentoring work. We gave you a nice opportunity based on that. Give us some feedback. We're reaching our area where things change, and we want to make sure that you're okay. That's from Mohammed right now, and for Dan W. Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
$10.01, 38.93, and 83. Pivot 24. I have to fix this a little bit here, so it doesn't look like unfortunately, we're not that busy. 24, pivot, support 18, 10, 01, 38.93, and 83, resistance at 29, 35, 45, 52, and 59. Afternoon trade yesterday got very, very, very slow, but wasn't unexpected. Probably, like I said before I left, that you probably needed to consolidate there a little bit and to see what's going on. But we did get up to our upper level resistance there that we talked about before we left. And if you traded that just alone, I think you did okay. We had a pretty decent morning, so see if we can keep it going. Welcome to some of the new folks that are coming in. We are trading mini S&Ps here. We are trying to scalp the market, which means we are trying to find setups that allow us to take 2 to 3 points on our trades versus trying to hold on to something and take 10 or 12 points. But doesn't mean that that's the wrong way to trade. It just means that we're doing it a little bit differently. There's many ways of trading, many concepts and ideas that you could trade. There's arbitraging, there's hedging against other months. There's a whole bunch of things that you could do. The point is that we found a opportunity here to try to scalp the market, and that's what we're going to do here today. And we're looking for those areas where the markets will bounce off because we don't believe markets will go straight up or straight down. So we're looking for those inflection points that'll give us an opportunity to scalp. Dependent on volatility, right? Dependent on volatility is always dependent on volatility because we never know what kind of day we're going to have. We never know what kind of announcements are going to be made during the course of a day, what news is going to affect markets. So consequently, we are always at the mercy of volatility. With that volatility in mind, we have to adjust our stops. Right now, we're looking probably 2 to 3 point stops with a 2 to 3 point profit target. And if you can trade or have the ability to trade multiple contracts, then you can try to squeeze something for a little bit more than 2 or 3 points, depending on taking profits along the way. But that's another idea of concept or methodology of trading too. There's a whole bunch, so we try to encompass something that'll let us take advantage of the levels that we give out. Some of you guys, folks who have come in just a little bit late here, we just opened up here and we gave our levels for this morning. If you look at the chat box area, you'll see the levels that we gave out. Those are levels that we use during the course of a day. Nothing is set in stone. It's just a guideline for us to be able to find these levels that we think would be areas where the markets might give us a chance to scalp the market, like I said, for 2 or 3 points. Sometimes we have to make adjustments to those levels. Sometimes we have to cancel those levels. It all depends on the price action at any given moment. So somebody asked earlier about me putting on trades on my charts. Those trades, if we put lines up there to tell you that there's a trade, those become like you think that they have to be taken. And sometimes, and we've done this many times over the last couple of weeks because of volatility, we make adjustments to those levels. We make adjustments up or down depending on how the market reacted prior to it getting there. So those levels are not something that are etched in stone. And then some traders like to cancel them because of the way the price action came around the level. And some people like to keep them on no matter what. So we have a whole bunch of different people in here who have different risk tolerances. So we don't put trades up there because everybody trades differently. Everybody has different risk tolerances. And you have to find the equilibrium part that makes you comfortable in finding a trade, entering a trade, and then executing that trade to be profitable. And like I said, everybody's got different risk tolerance, so it's not the same. Everybody doesn't trade the same way. You know, I've been trading for a long time, and I've been around a lot of great traders. And if I've never gone to a trader who's been very successful and say, "Let me know what your next trade is so that I can try to make the same amount of money that you can." Well, there's no way that'll happen because I can't handle the risk that he takes. I can't do what he does, and I would never, or she, and I would never try to mimic somebody else's trades because it's it's just not right. And not so much it's not right. It's just not, you can't do it. It's just everybody's got different way to handle or get into a trade, to get out of a trade. How many contracts are you going to trade? Those are all questions that are individualized and have to be that way because of a simple fact that everybody's different. Is that really that simple? So that's why we don't have them on there, and you will be able to tell from my, if you've been in the room with us, or in trading room here for a while, you'll be able to know what trades I'm in and what trades we're not in and what trades we adjust, why we would get into a trade. I kind of am very vocal about it, but the idea here is not for me to be vocal about it as much as it is for me to show you what to do, to learn how to trade this stuff, and to be able to find those trades independent of myself, and then to be able to execute them and make profits or make a living out of this, out of trading, or at least add some income to your whatever jobs you might have. Okay, so if anybody has any questions as to what we do here or how we do things, make sure you put them in the chat box area. There's no reason to raise your hand or anything like that. Just put your question in the chat box area, and if it just goes down to panelist only Brad and I see it, so it's not, you don't have to worry about any questions that you might ask that might be embarrassing or anything like that. There's no embarrassing questions around here, especially if you're new to what we're doing, or even if you are experienced and want some clarification as to something. I think that we have something to add to everybody's level of trading. If you've been around for a while, maybe we can show you some new concepts and ideas that you incorporate into your own trading methodologies or toolbox. And if you've never traded before and you want to maybe try to find a way to understand what the markets are doing and try to eke out a little bit of money every day, that's what we're here to do as well. The June contract, yeah, I would say probably they're turning over today, but we're gonna stick with. There's still more volume here into March. Maybe by the end of the day, they'll roll over to the June. For today, we'll stick with the March, and maybe even tomorrow there'll still be enough volatility and liquidity in this market today and tomorrow for us to be okay with. It's not like we're going to lose out on anything. They're kind of moving in tandem anyway, so I don't think it's something that you have to be really too concerned about in regards to missing anything by not rolling over to the next month trade, front month trade. So patience is important, and waiting. We'll wait. We don't have to go into the June contract today. We can wait till tomorrow. So yeah, probably turning over today, rolling over today. But because if you look at the June contract, it's about 100,000, which usually doesn't trade that much anyway. So that's a lot. So obviously there's a little bit more, but there's 400,000 traded in the March contract. So we'll stick to the March today, and we'll see as the day goes on. Though there'll be more folks trading into the next month. So patience. Good thing you can see here over the last few hours, we are definitely range bound, right? I mean, we are stuck in this little range here for 4 or 5 hours, and again, the market is happy, if that's the right word, about the passage of this stimulus bill from Washington, and thinking that it will add a little fuel to the economic fire here and keep the the numbers good, and especially since the vaccines are out and they're starting to take effect with the numbers kind of going down everywhere. So all of that is good news for the economy, good news for stocks, hopefully. But certain stocks, I was talking to somebody yesterday who started trading, and he was trading stocks, and he was telling me how he got in and he started buying NASDAQ stocks because they're hot and they were doing really good and everything was hunky-dory, but all of a sudden the NASDAQ became out of favor over the last month or so because of the shifting of where they think money is going to go. And those companies that were doing good during the pandemic, they were taking some profits against, and so the NASDAQ went down, and the S&Ps were holding steady or going up, and so he ends up losing some money. He doesn't understand why. And when we're trading futures, we don't have to care about what the stock market is doing. All we need is really movement one way or the other to give us opportunity. Doesn't really matter if it's up or down. We just want the opportunity to trade. Right now, since we're kind of floating back and forth around our pivot, there hasn't been any opportunities to trade. And again, there's nothing wrong with being patient and waiting for the market to give you an opportunity. As we've been talking about, when the markets tend to rally, which is what they've been doing over the last 3 or 4 trading days, the volatility gets sucked out of the market, and it becomes a little tougher trade and harder to you just don't get those ebbs and flows like you would on any when we were getting like last week when the markets were when they sold off a little bit. It's like yesterday was one indication. It looks like over the last 4 hours today, unfortunately, it looks like another day where we're going to be patient and wait. We try to get 4 or 5 trades in the course of a day. I think over the last week or week and a half, maybe even 2, we're at 7, 8 trades during the course of a day, and that again is an aberration. We focus more in the morning hours, so consequently, 4 or 5 trades doesn't seem like a lot, but if you are if you make money on them and you are happy with the outcome, then you just wait for the next day, and those days add up. It's a matter of being consistent here and being profitable on an everyday basis. After all, we're trying to make money here to is what we do, right? So patience is important. Waiting for the opportunities, as I said, are important. Also, as we quickly come down here to, they've kind of broke it down here to 20. We'll see what they want to do here at 18. Anyway, yeah. So we average 4 or 5 trades a day, but that's on an average. We've done a lot more than that over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So we might be, because the market is upticking like it is, we might be having to, really dig down deep and be a lot more patient than you were used to. That's for sure. Okay, there, Maureen. Thank you. Are you trading the June contract, or are you going to trade the March still? That could be a reason why. One reason why they don't match. Some charts, when they roll over, that data they roll over, they only show you the June contract. They don't show you the March contract. That could be one issue. But that's only some platforms. I'm not sure about everyone. All right, we continue to slowly downtick. We have support down at the 18 area. Right, that's what I figured. Sometimes the June when they roll over on the day they roll over, they some it's easier for them just to have 1 month instead of having a couple. So they that's probably why they don't. Yes, the levels are levels. Yes, that's true. All right, so we're teasing ourselves here with the 19 area. Got down to quickly tick 19. I don't even know if you got them in. If you put your 19 order in there, I don't know if you got them. Did anybody get them there at 19 on the top end? I just I did not have 19. I didn't. So you got them. Good. Don got it. So hopefully whoever else had the 19 got in. I had I was at 18 and a half because it's slow now. Should have known better. But Don's in, so that's good. Man's the man, Texas. Go big. And in Don's case, go bigger or go home. It's not just go big and go home. In Don's case, it's go bigger and then go home. I mean, he's already had big. Don's already had big, so he's got to go bigger. And that's why he goes in at 19 and I'm sitting there at 18 and a half. That's Don for you. Tim, it was the craziest, windiest day ever up there. It was crazy. It's just nuts. It was just good to walk, get out, walk. You know, the sun wasn't out at the beginning, but then it came out, so it was nice. But the view is awesome up there. You know, haven't golfed there, haven't been up there for a while, so but it was nice. Okay, we're back here at our pivot. So very, very quiet trade. We again, depending on some people, how they scale in around an area. Remember, we talked about an area. These are levels, but they're areas. You know, getting into a trade depends on how much risk tolerance somebody has. So if you're just trading one lots, maybe you're just putting the level down at 18. If you're trading multiple contracts, you're scaling in. As I mentioned, Don scaled in. He scales in at 19, 18, and maybe 17 as well. And he likes to buy an area. He doesn't just buy the level, and which is fine because of, like I said, everybody's different. So that goes to the question earlier about me showing my trades on the charts. There's a perfect example of how one person got the trade. Maybe somebody else did. I'm not sure. Nobody's answering me. That one person got the trade that I know that is part of our group, and somebody else didn't. Like I didn't, because my level was my scale started a little bit lower. But Don, Don got his, and he's long there at 19. So not everybody trades the same. I mean, I just keep I can't reiterate that enough. When everybody wants to like show trades and how what do you do and stuff like that. This is again, it's a very subjective question. Not only subjective question, but it all depends on somebody's individual risk tolerances. So we take that into consideration. It doesn't mean that I was wrong for doing what I did or Don was wrong for doing what he did. No, we're all kind of doing the same thing, but just tweaking it to your level of risk. Trying to hold in a sneeze there and didn't sound too good. Just give me 1 second. I got sneezed. I think I'm okay. All right, Don, you're kind of playing around with our pivot there, Don. I got something to train. There you go, Don. Don, you the man down today. You are it. All right. So we did drift down. We got down to 19. Unfortunately, we had 18. So again, now that level on the downside becomes a little bit riskier. So maybe a little bit of an adjustment for some of you who are a little less risk averse. You want to maybe adjust that maybe down to 17 or 16 area. I can see why. There's always there's always a little backup area to my levels. So we can make a little bit of an adjustment if you are so inclined down to 17, or you could leave it again, depending on how much. It's a little bit riskier now than it was, 5 minutes ago when the market went down there. Don, you're going to leave me again before 9 o'clock. You're going to make this a habit. By the way, Don, I got to take off early tomorrow. Maybe I'll be here in the morning for like half an hour. Is it possible for you to jump in there for the rest of the morning for me? All right, fantastic. Appreciate that, everybody. Don is my traders who've been with me for a long time. Mark, are you available too? Maybe you can use Wingman if your headset's working. Anyway, so been around here. You gonna be able to help out Don tomorrow after the first half hour or so? Mark's telling you, Don's telling you to hide the Play-Doh. All right, so yeah, so if Don's been around for a while with me, and he's chips in for me every time I have to maybe get out a little bit early or anything like that. We did have a good question there. Let me check to see if we have any numbers coming out right now. I should have done that earlier, but I was talking too much. No numbers this morning. We do have a 30-year note auction at 12 Chicago time. So that could create a little volatility. Again, we have to at least keep an eye open on these auctions because of the reaction that we might receive in the equity market from the bond market these days, because the shift in talking points in regards to what the market is looking at could shift into the bond market and interest rates. So it's 30-year bond auction later on this afternoon at 12 Chicago time. There is HD, but it's not. I saw that, but it's not that it's not a very big number. JOLTS job survey, which is the job openings and labor turnover survey. That's what the JOLT report is at 9 o'clock. Again, it's not a big number that we have to concern ourselves with. I would tell you if it was. Let's see. Exactly 1 year ago, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a outbreak, a pandemic, acknowledging what seemed clear for some time, that the virus would spread to nearly every country on the globe. Economies worldwide were upended as the nations locked down to contain the virus, called novel at the time, and unemployment skyrocketed. Unprecedented amounts of monetary and fiscal stimulus also poured into the global economies, as many people got used to staying at home, stay-at-home world, and extended gratitude to essential workers who helped keep things running. In financial markets, the fastest bear to bull market recovery was seen as continuous waves of investments poured in money into equities following one of the quickest crashes on record. Program after program were unveiled by the Fed, helping backstop those gains, while retail traders armed with stimulus checks and commission-free trading environment helped return the market sentiment to the all-time highs. With the flood of stimulus, HB, you don't have to raise your hand. You can just, if you put the chat box area up, you can ask any question in the chat box area. This is a wide open environment here. So Glenn, 29. Yeah, I would say just a little bit higher than that. 31, 32. Yeah, if you're not comfortable. All right. Financial markets, fastest bear market in history. With the flood of stimulus measures saturating capital markets, billions of dollars were also went to special acquisition companies, better known as SPACs, special acquisition companies. SPACs, that's the new term for IPOs. Special acquisition companies. That's a new gig now. That's really the new word for IPOs. So if a company wants to get bought out, they do the SPAC thing. All right, we're coming up here to the 29 level again. If it's because of the price action prior to that, if you're a little nervous about it, then just adjust a little bit. If you want to stay with it, stay with it. Yeah, so HB, please ask any question you want in the chat box area. Welcome. I know HD, we have an HD and an HB. So we're very lucky. We have H's here. Just enough to confuse me. All right. So again, if it's a little bit tenuous, this level up here, adjust a little bit. If you're going to stay with it, then you know, understand the risk as we come up here to the 29 area. Again, we said a little bit of an adjustment would probably be better because of the way it traded just before that. So up to this 31 area here. See what it wants to do up here now. Again, we make adjustments because of the price action. We just don't make adjustments because we feel like it. And again, even some of you even canceled it. Again, all of those things are all legitimate ways of trading, right? Doesn't mean that you have to take the 29. Doesn't mean that you have to adjust. Doesn't mean you could just wait for the next level above, which is 35. Well, we just said, you know, maybe adjust up here to 31 to adjust for the way the market traded prior to that. And a nice little rotation here off of this 31 level. You should have got filled up there at 31 if you had 31. So hopefully you were able to adjust like I suggested. And this is what we do here. We adjust based on price action. Don, that would be correctish, almost 11, 12 points. Yeah, somewhere in that range. I will, I'll have the June contract up tomorrow morning. Okay, so I'll also give June numbers tomorrow. So hopefully that'll work for tomorrow. All right, so again, the next level on the upside we have now is at 35. So we had to make a quick adjustment, and then if you made the adjustment, you got a nice little turnover off of the 31 down to 29. You obviously have to have the orders in the market to be able to get filled at any of those levels. You can't just, because the markets are kind of swiftly moving around, sometimes you only have one chance, and this was a perfect example of only having one chance. I thought I was clear. So I said that you're going to make an adjustment up to 31, 32, 30, 31. I think I thought I said that out loud, but maybe I didn't. I'm sorry there, Robert. I will be a little bit more definitive. So next level of resistance up here is 35 area. Market continues to uptick here. Very, very content with the outcome of stimulus situation, because that's getting passed and being signed tonight, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And like I said just a little earlier, it's also the 1-year anniversary of COVID. Amazing. It's been 1 year since the World Health Organization declared it a pandemic, as We're coming up here to the 35 area again, depending on how you're scaling in. Maybe some of you got in there at 34. If you're going to wait for 35, I get it. It's the same bar. Fast forward, the rate of new infections and deaths have begun to fall nationwide. More than 62 million Americans have already received one dose of the coronavirus. 33 million are fully vaccinated. And President Biden appears to be on track to a goal of vaccinating 100 million by the end of April, the first 100 days of his presidency. As we're coming up here to the testing, trying to see if we can test our 35 area. We're still on the same bar, so I guess it's okay. Again, depending on how you scaled in, you could probably be in already. If not, you're waiting for 35. I get it. Everybody just do your thing that makes you comfortable as a trader. All right, coming up here to the 35 area, see what it wants to do up here. On Wednesday, he announced plans to buy another 100 million doses of Johnson & Johnson single shot vaccine. And with the doses from Pfizer and Moderna, it's more than enough supply to vaccinate every American if they want it, of course. Biden's also set to sign another 1.9 trillion emergency relief package after Congress gave final approval on Wednesday to one of the largest economic stimulus measures in American history. Stock futures climbed on news overnight, with tech leading the rally. Biden said he'd announce the next phase as we slowly drift down here a little bit. Should have been able to get in there at 33.5 there. Hopefully, should have been able 34.5, I should say, and should have been able to take a little bit of profit here against the 32.5. So if you maybe got run over there at 29 because you didn't hear me, hopefully you made this adjustment here. I didn't have to scream for this one. This one, I stayed the same. If you're trying to stay short, if you have multiple contracts, and try to stay short and to see if we can get back down to probably the 29, 28 area would be a good cover if you are to have multiple contracts and can try to stay a little bit short. You're not going to stay short with your full load because it doesn't make sense. You're going to take some profits. You got to peel some profits for the 2 points and then try to get more than that if you can. And this is when the markets are like this. So we do adjust the volatility. I mean, sometimes our stops could be 4 or 5 points with our profit targets at 4 or 5 points. So everything depends on volatility. Biden said he'd announce the next phase of U.S. COVID-19 response this evening as the administration turns to focus on multiple trillion-dollar infrastructure package. Democrats say that they want to bill with bipartisan support, unlike the most recent stimulus, but compromises would have to be worked out in many areas like climate change and racial equality. Rising yields. All eyes on European Central Bank this morning as worries over rising bond yields remain a concern for investors. No changes to rates or the amount of bond purchases are anticipated, though policymakers will decide whether to rising borrowing costs are a threat to the EU's pandemic-stricken economy. Of course it would be. While the ECB also current quota to purchase 1 trillion euros of their bonds. Everybody's doing the bond thing. And again, if you're trying to stay short, you're doing it with just small amount of contracts. See if we can get a little lower. Otherwise, you're taking some profits. We scaled in. We talked about scaling into our levels. Obviously, 34.5 is the lower end of the 35, or maybe if you got in at 34, like we talked about earlier, some of our traders got in at 34. and then you got paid off either way, whether you got in at 34 or 34.5. Hopefully, you were able to find a way to enter trades here without. All right, there, nice trade there, Timmy. Good trade. Again, different ways of entering, right? We talk about nobody's the same. Different amount of contracts. If you're trading multiple contracts, try to take a little bit more out of it than 2 points. Looking for the 29 area. Nice, Maureen. Very, very nice. All right. Everybody is jumping in here. You mean 33.50, right? Oh, okay then. Sorry. You told me that and then I confused myself. Well, we're going to target the 29 area, and if you want to put the trailing stop, you can have a trailing stop. Right now, your stop would be at, just have a trailing stop. So 2-point trailing stop, 3-point trailing stop. If you're using the market to get out of your stop, the stop would be at 35 right now. So you take a little bit of a loss there if you did get in. If not, then let's say you have a 2-point trailing stop, where it means if the market rallies 2 points, you get out. If the market, it all depends on how much risk you're willing to take. So if you're looking at the market to get out, your stop would be at 35. If you have a trailing stop with rotations from off of a certain level, then let's say it rotates 2 or 3 points off of a low, then that's your stop. So again, everybody's a little bit different, and you have to find the ones that make you comfortable. But you're still going to target the 29 area. So if you can get down to 29, you're going to take those profits. So you got down here to right down to 30. So again, your stop depends on how much risk you want to take and how many contracts you're trading, and how are you peeling off some some profits along the way. Those are all things you have to answer to be able to get a decent, a different stop. So, but this is a good example of trying to take a little bit more than 2 points on a trade, 2 or 3 points, as the market we're short here against the 34.50 area, and now you got a solid 5 points into this trade, and I would have covered anything right there. That would have been a nice cover against the 29 area. So hopefully, that's how you can, again, if you're trading multiple contracts and the market gave us we said 29 area, got down to 29.5. So I would have probably gotten out there. Get nice 5 points on the trade, and not too bad. If you're trading and you want trailing stop still, and I would get out above 34 now if you adjust it a little bit. But again, hopefully you were able to take your profits down there to 29.5 area when it dipped down there. I actually got a 9.25 out. So the ECB will likely see very nice. Very nice. The ECB will likely see a spike in consumer prices at the start of the year as temporary, which will speed up inflation in 2021, though it wouldn't continue in the following year. Prices growth in 2023 would be around 1.4%, with the ECB forecast 3 months ago. That means the current revision in inflation estimates should be marginal, leaving room for upside shocks. That's what they assumed. Let's see what happens. Days and well, I mean, that was the previous high, right? Overnight high. So kind of went down there and figure it'll hold, at least initially. Very nice trade there, Hammond. Oh boy, here we go with the GameStop thing again. Shares of GameStop jumped 18% in early trading on Wednesday, putting the video game retailer on track for a sixth straight gain, and even rose on to an intraday high of $348. The stock was then halted after plunging to around $200, though still closed the session up 7% to $265. That's all normal. And then GameStop is trending 11% lower this morning. All that is all normal. That's all normal. Swings weren't only limited to GameStop. Volatile trading saw headphone maker costs skyrocket 70% on Wednesday, even though the shares fell 12% overnight. Meanwhile, AMC sold off before earnings today and only to climb another 8% to gain a $10 level after its quarterly announcement. What's happening? Some are pointing to a renewed Wall Street bets squeeze that began in January, though only about 20% of GameStop shares float is sold short, the lowest in last 3 years. Others may already be factoring in the coming stimulus check and Reddit trades that may follow. Younger investments who are likely to receive direct payments are more inclined to invest in so-called meme stocks, said some guy from Charles Schwab. Okay, whatever you say. Totally ridiculous. Trying to make sense out of that, you can't. You just can't. You just can't. I think it's a cult stock, declared one analyst, saying that even the most successful transition would not justify the the high levels. To support the trading at $235 a stock, GameStop would need to earn $10 to $12 per share annually on a sustained basis, he added, though he only expects the company to earn $1 a share in fiscal 2022. That's how crazy this is. That's really how crazy it is. The stock is a $20 stock. To maintain earnings at that price, it has to make between $10 and $12 a share annually on a sustained basis. The company is expected to earn $1. Is that crazy? That's absolutely nuts. Like, you can't even, like, it doesn't even make sense. Somebody's making money on this. That's all I can say. All right. Again, we're kind of just now coming up here, trading a little bit of a range. Next level on the upside we have is 45. Right now, support would be back around the 25, 26 area. If you're looking for a little support area, anything below 22, you want to be out of any longs. If we continue to go down there. Okay. You could like GameStop then. Well, they do have positive earnings, but their earnings to sustain that price of $230 need to be $10 or $12 a share every day, every year. It's trading. It only makes $1 a share. I mean, that is the rub here. That doesn't make any sense. Well, I wouldn't buy earlier 29 now. Well, it got down to 29 and a half, so I would not do it now if you were looking at. I needed to buy the 29 and a half when it got there the first time. Right now, I'd look more at 25, 26. Yeah, first time. It's a little bit more riskier this time now. That's all. So we'll try to minimize the risk as much as possible. All right, continue to downtick here a little bit, support down 25, 26 area if you are so inclined to buy some here. And I said anything below 22 out of any longs. Seems like bond market and us. Well, seems like we're following the bond market. All of a sudden, bonds are turning lower here, making new lows. Something's up, right? Something's up. Don't know what, but something's up. Bond market is cracking down a little bit. It's just taking it down with you. So next level of downside we have, since blue band not really working there. More consistent probability than what? As compared to what there, Teresa? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thought you were going to say as compared to trading, then I'd have a little bit of a, I would have to disagree with you just a little bit there. But yeah, compared to GameStop, absolutely. Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason what's going on over there. Absolutely no rhyme or reason. Okay, market kind of hiccup there a little bit. And flushed, got some longs, got flushed them out as the bond market turned over, making new lows. And I think it's creating this little push to the downside here. Again, this is trading. We never know what's going to happen. And that's why we tell you to keep your stops in. That is the one constant here, because we just never know. We can find some good support areas, but at any moment given time, something creates some volatility. Maybe a little bit maybe too many people are getting long. Maybe they got caught long and flushed it down there, right down to 22 and change, and came back up. I thought we would continue to go down. So don't know that. That's why you keep your stops in there and be done with it. And if you did, it'd be hard to. Well, it went down there pretty fast. Tough to say that you would have probably Could have stayed long. The only reason he could have stayed long because it's rotated back up really quickly, but tough to make that call there if you did buy him down there at 25, 26. Now we're coming right back up and right back up. So this is getting a little choppy here. Not surprising. This is probably when it does this stuff, it's hard to even like, oh, good HD, nice trade. Yeah, that's frustrating there, Padro. You know, it is very frustrating when that happens. I get it. Happens to me all the time. You just gotta take a, look for the next opportunity there. You know, it's one of those things that it's hard to figure out why it broke and hard to figure out why it's coming back. Except now might get a little bit choppy here. Basically, it's gone through the whole range in the last, just in the last 5 minutes. So. All right, so we're back up here again. Very, very choppy. That's what happens sometimes when it gets in these like modes where it doesn't go anywhere fast. And next level of resistance we have is up at the 45 area. All right, getting a little bit of a range here. And coming right back up here to these highs. So we're looking at the next level of resistances at 45. Getting a little bit choppy around here today. I mean, this last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, where it just broke it and rotated back up and coming back up here to the highs. Kind of a little frustrating if you did get long down there because it's right back up. Maybe you got stopped out. All right, so next level of resistance on the upside is at 45. Again, support is unfortunately support is still down at 25. 24, 25 area, and but it did quickly drift down and came right back up. There's a little hiccup there, and then right back up here. That was unfortunate if it got stopped out there. It was a little buying opportunity. But again, depending on what your risk tolerances were, you probably maybe got stopped out, but it did dip down to that area there that we thought would have a little support. All right, well, we're coming up here and retesting that high here. So I think we have a little bit of a buy there above the 35 if you're looking for a little momentum trade to get up to the next level there. Well, you got to take some profits. Even though our next level of resistance is 45, if we do get above 35 or 36 and we start to rally a little bit, the eventual target is 45, but you do have to take some profits here if you get 2 or 3 points along the way. And so we get above 35 area. If it's a little bit of a buy, 35, 36, a little bit of a buy there to go forward to the upper levels, but of course sold off here. But at least you have a entry point there above 35, 36 for a little momentum trade. It's setting up that way anyway. Well, support will still be down at 25, 24 area. And next level of resistance up at 45. Otherwise, right here in the middle, this is like almost like the no trade zone. You could go either way here. We could rally, we could break. So this is where you have to be patient and wait for the opportunities to present themselves. So a little bit more quieter day today than it was over the last couple weeks here, but that's okay. So what happens when the markets kind of rally? What is the VIX right now? Can somebody let me know what the VIX is trading at? I'd say by around 21, 20, 21 or 20 area. 22 still. That's pretty impressive. But if we continue to rally, I think we'll definitely be a little lower. I would say probably, yeah, to look for a push to go a little bit higher. All right, we're just kind of hanging up at the highs here. Again, above 35, 36 area, look for a push higher. Right here, we're just gotta be patient. I mean, if you were looking for a trade, I guess you have a tight stop there. If you really wanted to sell it here against that 35, 36 area, I guess you could. That's your exit strategy. That's one way. Other way is just kind of be patient and wait. It's another way. I mean, there's different choices up here just because the market is kind of hanging here. Some of them more aggressive, maybe taking a little bit more bolder chance here. At least you know where your exit strategy is above. So everybody just trades a little bit differently. And like I said, I keep saying, doesn't mean that one way of doing it is right and the other way is wrong. Everybody's got their own, they see things their own way and decide to make choices on their own. That's what we are trying to do here, give you opportunity to make choices on your own. Welcome to some of the new folks that are coming in here. And we are trading mini S&Ps. Obviously, things are a little bit slow today, but we have to be patient and wait for opportunities when they present themselves for us to trade. And right now, we're just kind of hovering up here at the highs, kind of just doing nothing much. And like I said, you could, if you wanted to, if you have an exit strategy, and we gave you an exit strategy about 35, 36. If you wanted to be short here, you could. If you are waiting for an extension, you could. The downside support would be at the 24, 25 area. So all of these things come into play here. It all depends on what you are trying to do as a trader and what you're looking at and what you think the market's going to do. We give you different ideas and try to help you find reasons why markets do things, and then it's up to you to try to figure out what trades you are trying to, what trades you see or you recognize that you like and that have worked for you in the past, and then try to execute those trades accordingly. Right, we're slowly trying to inch our way up here. We definitely don't want to be short around here. We could easily uptick, or there's a chance we can go back down to 29, but who knows? This is like the no trade zone, like I said. If we're doing anything, we're maybe trying to get a little long here. Maybe you can put in a little better entry point if the market downticks a little, or maybe if you're getting in, look for a market to uptick. But the problem is right now, when we get these rally markets, they suck the volatility out of the markets and it becomes one of those slow moves one way or the other. So it's a matter of, it tests your patience and tests your ability to find your entry points. And and then test your ability to just basically just stay patient. It's very tough to trade these markets when they rally like this and they have no volatility. Looks like, I don't know, looks like we might be getting to that mode. If you're looking for a better entry point to get long, maybe the 34.5 area there would, if it rotates back down, would be an entry point. Kind of makes sense, right? But if you're going to get long here, maybe you get long also at the 34.5, or if you want to wait for the 34.5 and get long there, you can try that. But we're trying to keep you a little bit long here based on the price action, based on what's going on in front of us, to see if we can't uptick here a little bit. Again, if you have 2 or 3 points on your trades, you're going to, take it. You don't have to target the 45, which is our next level of resistance on the upside. That's just the next level of resistance, and also as a target, but you have to be exceptionally patient and probably, we don't know if it's going to get there or not, but if you have a nice trade and if you get the ability to take some profits, the theory around here is that you should take some profits. And then if you have any left over, then you peel off of those two to keep it up to the other level above. But this is how you can, take a little bit more than 2 points on your trades. But like I said, if you're looking for a better entry point, maybe the 34.5 area would be good. And if you're trying to stay long here, it's just a matter of some extreme patience. And unfortunately, you have to, keep your stop in there, because you never know when these things are going to do what they just did like 10, 15 minutes ago, where they'll just hiccup one way. And you don't want to get caught. So it's just nature of the beast right now when it gets so slow. Could do anything. But for us, we're trying to keep you a little long here based on the price action. And it's just a matter of patience and waiting. And that's why I like it when there's the movement in the market where I can talk about the market. But when it does this, it's just a matter of just hanging and waiting. Well, I mean, it depends where you get in. If there's support all the way down to 29.5. So, that's a problem. If you're buying it here, just keep your 2 or 3 point stop. Let's not, unfortunately, we're looking for a slow rally. So maybe a better entry point would be if you want to, anything below 29 out of any longs. So if you're looking for that area there, if you want 29 or below, so maybe you're getting in at around 31. Maybe 34.5 would probably be, but your exit strategy would be below 29. So it's a matter of finding your entry point and how much risk you're willing to absorb, right? I know it's a big stop if you're buying it here and having a stop down at 29, but hopefully we slowly get a little uptick. All right there, Mohammed, take care. Talk to you on Monday. But today's Thursday. Maybe you're off tomorrow. All right, again, we had a little bit of a buy there above 35, 36 area. So maybe you were able to get in. You got 2 points here on this trade. You take some profits, right? Okay, there was our 2 points. We got in at 38 to 36. So nice little trade there. And now if you have anything left over. All right, so we talked to you on I'm glad you're busy. Talk to you on Monday. Yeah, so this is how we found our entry point to get along. We had a reason, and then it's a buy stop there basically, and gave you a chance to get in there at 35 and change, and a nice little rotation up here to 39 area. So hopefully, like I said, took some profits there. We're trying to keep you along. You got to take some profits along the way, because it's not going to go straight up. So you take some profits, you feel a little bit better about the trade. You take some, then if you still have some contracts left over, you're not going to lose money on the trade. You're just going to try to see if we can get a little bit more out of it, wherever your stop is. So Yeah, anything could happen up here, there, Don. This is, that's why if we have a nice little trade there, like keeping you long, take some profits here, and then get it. Then let it do. It's thin right now. The volume is really low, and it's not really moving that much, and so it can really do anything, you know. But at least we got us a little bit long there above 35, 36 area, and a nice little trade there. It kind of set itself up very nicely for us, and hopefully you're able to take advantage of it. Look, not every trade is going to be a winner. Like we suggested, buying the 25s area, and then it went down to 22, and then rotated back up really fast. If you got stopped out, it's okay. Then you look for the next opportunity. The next opportunity was here at the 35, 36 area. Well, hopefully you were able to get in. This is what trading is about. It was a wrong for us to buy that 30. Well, it was wrong for that minute, but eventually it did. The slippage got us if you did get stopped out, which happens. Sometimes I try to find the area that would encompass the slippage a little bit, but I don't know what happened there at that moment, but it did create some crazy volatility that pushed us right through, any reasonable stop. But, if you did buy them and you have a 4 or 5 point stop, then you did okay. And then it came right back up. So, it's one of those things that you never know, but then you got to look for the next trade. And the next trade was buying the 35s area. And hopefully you were able to cash on that and this rotation back up here. No, you know what? It was still the blue band actually did work. It's just a matter of that extra slippage was created by, I think, the bond market, because at the same time the bond market kind of broke, and some people are watching that, trading against that, and they just I don't know if that was the reason. I don't know why it happened, but obviously it wasn't really. It was a fake out move to the downside, and so maybe caught some of us got stopped out, but it really wasn't. We were right. It's just the slippage got us. So unfortunately, it happens. What are you gonna do? But then the next trade up here worked very nicely. So that's what you got to focus on. It's always the next opportunity. All right, market continues to uptick here. If you're trying to stay long, that's the name of the game at this moment in time. The target eventually is up at 45. No, not today. It's a little bit. It's the wind is still there. I mean, I'm telling you, I've been around Chicago for a long time. I've never seen some wind like that. But then again, I was at the highest point in Chicago, so that could be a reason. But it was, I mean, it was amazingly. A good thing it was warmish, because if it was cold and there was that wind chill, oh my God, it was something. They call it the Windy City for a reason. But today, now it's a little bit nippier. Yesterday was close to 70. Today it's in the 50s, it's 40s this morning. So, and the wind is still there. So that's okay. I'll wait. After that wind yesterday, man. It was like playing, I don't know if you play golf, but if you ever see those clips from St. Andrews and in Scotland, where the winds are like the flag is like bent over. That's what it was. All right, we're rotating up here. Again, eventually trying to keep you along, looking for the 45, but like I said, you got to take some profits along the way. It was a nice little buying opportunity. We don't always just, counter trend market or fade the market. There's opportunities where we have to let the market kind of find those momentum trades for us. It has to get set up with the price action. What's that there, HD? Where's the level? Well, I mean, it's your exit strategy against the longs, that's all. Yeah, HD. So basically, you're targeting the 45, and this is where you would reverse if you're got long, stay long up here. We're still using the 45, and this is where technically we would kind of reverse here. Maybe you get out at the lower end of your longs and then reverse at the top end of your level, right? I mean, this was a nice little move here above the 45, 35. We talked about targeting here to 45. If you're able to stay long, then this is where the resistance is. Let's see what it wants to do up here. Just trading the level, then maybe you're trying to sell it up here against its 45 area. Let's see what it wants to do. If you got long there, this is where you were, we talked about the long at 36 area and targeting 45. So it's a nice little trade there if you were able to stay along with it. And now if you're, this is our level here. So we're working this level. But HD, if you, let's say you got long there and you're staying long and you want to sell it at 45, you don't have to short it, right? It all depends on, how you got up here and what you did with it. So again, different ways of managing the trade and managing a trade. So yeah, it was a nice trade if you were able to stay long, but then if you didn't, and if you're just going to trade the level up here, then you trade the level up here. So you can get long in reverse, or you could have just got long, take some profits, and now you come up here to the 45 level and then see what it wants to do up here. That's if you're working the 45 area here, trying to see what it wants to do up here. If you got long from the area down below, and then you were trying to, this is what you were targeting. So either way, we were trying to keep you long to get up to this area, one way or the other. And hopefully you were able to somehow get long along the way here. Take advantage of this little move here that the market set up for us. Again, we look for the market to give us direction. We look for the market to indicate the trades. We're not guessing. There was a reason why we wanted to get long, and this is the work that we do here with our price action trading. We're waiting for the market to kind of dictate what our opportunities are going to be and what they're going to present themselves. And either way, whether you are long or not, or if you're trading the 45 level here, again, it's just a matter of being able to find the area that would, or find a trade that you could recognize and then trade it yourself. That's what we're trying to do here. Now we're getting to this like slow rally that we're not getting any bounces off of our levels. That's why hopefully we're trying to keep you a little bit long to get to the 45. It just seems like it's going to fall back into that rally mode market where there's less volatility and the market doesn't even, it just doesn't give us any pullbacks whatsoever. If that's the case, then it's a good thing we were long going up to the 45, and even if you get stopped out on this, it's not going to be a big deal. But again, depending on how you got in and where you got in, those are all go into your calculations as to where your stops are going to be presented. Yes, we're going to have a class at 12 o'clock Chicago time. So those of you who are part of the education course can join us later on at 12 o'clock Chicago time. as part of the course. And if you haven't, if you're not part of the course, obviously you can always rejoin us in about an hour after we start our class and come in for the rest of the day. Or you can, obviously come back tomorrow. So either way, hopefully, but we will have our class later on this afternoon at around 12 Chicago time. All right, so we got hopefully trying to keep you along coming up here to the 45 area. If you're working the 45 area, it's not giving us a really good rotation, maybe giving you a chance here to scratch it if it comes back down to it, or maybe you scaled in a little bit differently depending on what you're going to do. If you did happen to stay long. If not, it looks like it's going to be one of those slow rally days. So who knows? Right now, support will be back around the 34 area, 35 area, that original entry point. But it looks like it's going to be one of those slow rallies to the upside. Next level on the upside we have is 52. Everything's hunky dory fine these days when market's going up. But again, this trade right now, the way it's trading is very tough for us. So I'll give you that, give you that warning that the levels seem, especially with these rallies, they seem to suck the volatility out of the market. And so you have to kind of play our levels with a grain of salt, keep your stop in there, because every time you think it give you a chance, it doesn't. It just kind of slowly upticks. That's when we, this kind of trade is not our trade. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. We need volatility. That's why we are always banking on volatility, ebbs and flows. We need the opportunities to have the markets move on us. So as long as we recognize the trade, we recognize what kind of trade it is, then you can uh, uh, make sure you keep your stops in there. And if you're going to trade the levels and then don't sit there and squeeze them, because it just seems every time you think you're going to get something out of the trade, it just never happens. And the volume has been sucked out of the trade already today. So going forward, be a little bit careful and trade cautiously on these upside. Take a little bit of a break here. Remember, our class is going to be later on this afternoon at 12 o'clock Chicago time, and we'll come back here in a bit.
Hey, quick shout out. Welcome to Joseph B. Hey, Joseph, welcome. Hey, Chad B. How are you? I think I missed you before. Frank, I think I missed you. Fred. It's funny, I was talking earlier and I couldn't hear Saul. So if he pops in, I think I've got him set up so I can hear him now. Those that are joining us from the outside, we're coming into the noon hour here. If you want to join us on the inside, that'd be great. Just look for the link. It is Zoom It Live. Frank, yes. It's unbelievable, right? I think I've got to start to tune myself up to go outside. It's like, how do you leave your bunker? You know, I need a bunker makeover before I can go outside. But the weather is a changing. The weather is a changing. It was bleak there for a little bit. Yeah, real, I tell you, real grass. When I was a younger man, our local school here had all grass. Everything was grass. And I can remember the fellow that nice guy, used to kid around with us and stuff, and he used to cut the grass. So my town has now become like Cement City and also AstroTurf City, or whatever they call it, whatever the modern version of fake grass is. Now they have lacrosse fields and grass. I mean, in AstroTurf, they've got football fields, they've got side fields, they've got kids fields, and it's all done in artificial turf. So I don't think these kids can feel the earth. You know, nothing like going into a slide when the earth actually moves and there's a dust up. It's funny. But anyway, that's just me. I'm crazy. But again, we've got a nice group of people joining us. Appreciate you being here. We had a good morning session. Right now it's 12:04 on Thursday, March 11, 2021. Everything we do is for educational purposes only. Nothing's to be taken as direct trading advice. I was working through the other system, an opportunity to work on my voice. I wasn't happy with my voice coming through. Saul's voice is great. He has a voice for radio. I was looking at microphones and all sorts of crazy stuff. And then I figured out that on my system here that I put together, that the virtual mixing board, which I'm not using right now, I'm actually plugged into another system, gives me the ability to change up my voice a little bit, put in a little character, a little depth to my voice, which I think is funny. So if anybody needs a trading platform, let us know. If you need any help, let us know. Joseph, let us know how you're making out. Don, I hear you're going to be tuning up your command of the audience. You'll be doing some vocal ranges, spraying your throat with some astringent. Well, that was very kind of you to sacrifice yourself in front of all the players out there. I know Mark L is sunning himself, trying to catch a few rays before his appearance tomorrow out in sunny California. not only sunny California, but it's Malibu. Now, I'd like to be in Malibu right now, but I am in New York, where the temperature has gotten better. And I heard that Kanye West may be coming to a suburb by us, which could be interesting. And he has offered them a significant, now I don't know if this is true, right? This is part of the clickbait world, but he is offering a significant amount of money to a local town to change their name to the name that he likes because he may be moving there. So I wish I had that kind of dough that I could offer that up for a name change, no matter what the name change is. I just like to make the offer. It's like Elon Musk. He can sort of walk around and do whatever he wants. And it seems to turn out okay. I was laughing to myself when Elon Musk had the latest Starship, which I think is pretty cool, calling things starships, right? Blew up when it came back in for a landing, but it hit the landing. So it was able to actually come in and turn around at some point and then land on a barge of some sort. I don't know if this was a barge or just another landing area, but one of the landing structures didn't hold up based on the impact of the weight. And then it sort of fell over and was a nice, crazy, spectacular explosion. But I think it's interesting because that, the future is here. Whatever he wants to do, I'm happy with. Yeah, no, he does. Marini does have a little bit of an ego. Not just Elon, but the other fellow. But yes, I don't know. I mean, they seem to be able to, turn whatever they do into money, which I think is pretty interesting. I don't fault them for that part. And I don't even know from musically whether I'm interested in that kind of music. I hear it from time to time. Haven't heard it lately. I thought that I thought it was interesting that he had that prayer service, which I thought was pretty cool. Anytime you can bring people together like that, I think is a good idea. God knows we need it. But here we are. Yeah, and I think Musk started out with nothing. I don't know about the other one, but I think Musk, is just one of those, as I think somebody said, and I think it was in this program, it said that he was he was visited, like the old, forget the name of that zone in the desert somewhere, that he was visited, and based on that visit, he, was way ahead technologically, which I think could be interesting. I think thank God, at least somebody's doing it, And I always go back to the originator, and actually it's funny. I watched a movie about Steve Jobs, and his movement out of the garage into a company and all the trials and tribulations of his move and the fights or the competition between him and Bill Gates based on Windows. And I believe if it wasn't for Apple and how they structured their windows or their panes, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be able to trade. We wouldn't have these individual boxes, to put all the charts up on. There was one company out there that came up with the ladder. I mean, think about that. There was an actual company, and I think I have the name somewhere in my head, and I'll come up with it. But they sued everybody else that developed charting systems that was using their ladder system, and won. So every time somebody uses the ladder, they get paid. I can't remember the name of that company. That's Maureen. I think that might be something that's a very good compliment. I think he might have also gotten visited based. This is Saul being visited based on the market. But it's funny. He showcases that, obviously on a daily basis, and I think it's interesting because he, it's like he moves. Oh, that makes any sense, but he moves. He doesn't get transfixed by any particular market movement or scenario, that he's able to adjust and move based on what's happening at the time around price, which I think is a pretty rare thing. And that's what he's trying to impart to those that are part of his world. Saul's world. It's not my world. It's Saul's world. And he's able to do it, in different places. So, but anyway, we're coming into the end of the morning session. Those that are joining us on the outside, look for the link, Zoom it live, www.zoomitlive.com. I just started working that in because I like the idea of Zoom. I like the idea of being able to present this opportunity in Zoom. And I think it also gets us out of our box a little bit. It does. Good. That sounds good. So that's at 1 Central Time, 12 noon. It's funny. I talk Eastern Time because I'm in New York and the 9:30 bell. And Saul is Central Time. So sometimes we collide. But I think you've all figured that out by now. And again, those that are coming on the outside, and let me know if that Zoom it live works when you come in. Should work. I've got to put it out to, maybe I'll just duplicate the same thing out in the world when it comes to Zoom it live. Got to work on that. So what I'll do is, just as we always do, this will be open through the afternoon until the close. You have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. If you want to sign up for Saul's monthly, it's a small donation. Turns out to be $25 a week. And that's just done out of respect. And if anybody wants to move from Saul's monthly into Saul's intensive, you still have the monthly, but you're part of Saul's intensive, and that's an opportunity that we discuss privately on the telephone or through Skype. I don't know if a Skype is too old. What are people talking on now? Is it WhatsApp? Is it, I don't know what else is there. I think Facebook just bought. Did they buy WhatsApp and then they bought something else, right? Instagram. Got to figure that out too, because I think Skype was bought by Microsoft and I think they ruined it. And now they're moving people into teams, for security, but it's not the same usage. I still think it's pretty good for international calls, but I'm not sure people are still using it as often. So Duo through Google. Okay. I'll look at that. Yeah, no, I still like Skype. I do use it all the time, but I noticed that, a lot of the people that were on it, either not or don't have it up. They can turn it on, but they just don't have it active on their screen. I wonder if I saw Zoom was into the phone thing now. That might be something to look at also, so we can do both. When I logged in the other day, there was some sort of announcement about phone. And I think that it's probably not a stretch, to go from Zoom to a Zoom phone call, especially if you're going to put up faces. I was told a while ago to turn my mic, not my mic off, my camera off, or put a sticker over my camera, which I've done. But I also bought a Logi camera that I can turn on and off, but I think I need to get a background or practice that. I think I'd like to get Sol on. I don't know if that is something that he would do. I see some of these Zoom situations or other situations where people are on and you see them there, doing their thing. Just not sure that he's would be up to that. Not only, and just for privacy purposes, not for anything else. I think that's very interesting that you would have to, to project your image, live during the morning session, would take some setup, and also, the concept of inviting people in to see all that stuff, whatever it is. But I'm thinking that his answer would be no, but I don't know. Well, yeah, it wouldn't be his screen. It would just be his. Oh, I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know how that would work, because I know I see people. I'm not sure they're showing this screen. So it'd be the same screen that you're seeing now with the three charts, but you would also have Sol on there. I don't know if that would slow down his trading, though. I mean, the internet and the trading on his end. I guess it'd be depending on the size of the image, but I don't think that he'd want to slow down because he's trading. He's trading. I know that there is probably an opening to be able to do it when he's teaching. I know he's giving up his so when he's on during class, that he's able to give individuals the microphone to interact and also put up their charts, which I think is very powerful. And that's something that is a learned experience on my end and a learned experience on his end to do that. Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I think maybe during class, if he's not listening to me now, you might want to ask him. He doesn't think that like it was my idea. Shh, don't tell him. We don't want him to start texting me in the background. He was texting me today when I didn't realize I was on. And I was still talking while he was on. I had set things up a little differently, and I wasn't even going out to where it should have gone out to. So I had to make an adjustment, but I didn't know. I was looking at it like I was dumbfounded, trying to figure out how to make the adjustment on the slide and which one wasn't working because I've got like 20 of them in front of me. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, it's about 20. But I think I've got it now because it goes back through my headset. So I should be okay. So we're going to call this Trading the Markets Learn to Earn is the short name. So I made some adjustments in the background to work on that. And then after we close down Zoom today, I'll update that part. And then I'll set up, actually, I did. I changed the name of some of the other stuff out there too so far. But I'm trying to boil it down to the elements. It's very difficult for me to do that. It takes time. And it takes some, sometimes I realize that I'm putting too much in. And it doesn't need all the other crazy stuff. Shorter the better and to the point. Yeah, or earn. It's funny. Earn while you learn is a great one, and that's great. That's great. We had incorporated things like that in the past, in the beginning of time when we were first starting out. It's funny. You're looking for a couple things. You're looking for keywords, from the search point of view, but you're also looking to be short and sweet, and that's a good one. It's interesting, I'm not a spring chicken, and a lot of the everything is clickbait now, and people are getting a lot pretty jaded out there based on clickbait. But I think I think it's still pretty effective because I fall into it myself. I spend some time on my phone just going through different things, and it really does take up a lot of not the word is time, but sort of, it's like reading comic books back in the old days. It can be a distraction from what you should be doing. I can remember my dad raised 7 kids. My mom and dad raised 7 kids. And my brother was a little older. And I can remember my father coming in. Actually, I don't know if he's a little older. I think he's like, how old is he? Might be 10 years older. I don't know if maybe it's 7 years older. I'll have to figure that out. But my point is, my dad used to come in and he'd be like, have a book out. And inside the book, he'd have like a comic book. And my father would figure it out because the regular book that he had was upside down. So he could see it. So my brother thought he was being slick, but he got bagged. I also remember that when my brother was driving, the family car, that for some reason he used to hit the right-hand side of his car, the passenger side, like he'd hit the mirror, he'd like hit the side of the car. So it became known that my brother liked to drive to the right. But then, of course, they took the car away from him. But I remember those times of intense communication that used to happen back in the old days. 5 girls and 2 boys. And when the ladies used to gang up on you, you were in trouble. My older sister, which wasn't that much older than I was, used to go to the top of the stairs and start to slap herself around saying I was hitting her. And one of the rules, which is just a regular rule, is you should never hit a young lady or a girl, which I still adhere to. But it's just funny that that's the way she used to get back at me. Because of course there was nothing I could say that would I didn't have an iPhone to take a video of her doing that. That was back when I could have used an Instamatic maybe. One of those Polaroid things back in the day. And now those are coming back into use. My daughters love those. That instant satisfaction of the actual print that you can put up on the wall. It's pretty interesting. But anyway, so I digress. If anybody wants to learn more about trading, let us know. If you want to learn about Sol's Intensive, let us know. If you didn't bank your money by 12 noon, then we've got some work to do, so let us know. I'm going to be, Sol's coming in, in another half an hour? He's going to have his intensive. So if you want to be part of it, let us know. I think that's one of the things you should ask. Does anybody want to move from the monthly into the intensive? And we'd be glad to do that for you. I want to send out the links to come in to our service. Now they're out to you now, so check it out. Come into Zoom it live.